What's going on, hockey fans? It's Mitch back here with another recap of the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the New York Islanders. The Islanders have taken it and go up 2-0 in the series in the first round of the Eastern Conference Stanley Cup playoffs. They win 3-1 over the Pittsburgh Penguins again at home and put all the pressure on the Penguins in game number 3 in Pittsburgh to get that victory. If the Penguins are not able to secure that victory in game number 3, the Islanders look like they're about to advance to the second round. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to jinx them, but the Islanders, 3-1 victory over the Penguins. Another really good performance where they've fed off the crowd. They've really been feeding off the crowd. The energy of the New York Islander fans has been through the absolute ceiling. Again, I watched a little bit of the Tampa game. I watched a little bit of the Blues game. I watched a little bit of so and so forth. It doesn't matter, okay? The Islanders fans are insane right now. They are absolutely going nuts. And that is allowing the Islanders, specifically their fourth line and specifically their forecheck, to get into the game early, put pressure on the Penguins. And it's not like the Penguins are not playing smart hockey. It's not like they're not playing well or not trying to play well or not putting in effort. The Islanders are forcing these mistakes. They're forcing these penalties. And that's why the Penguins are losing, and that's why the Islanders are winning. They're feeding off that energy. They're playing with more pace. They're playing with more aggression. They're playing with more intensity, and the Penguins lack that intensity. They lack that aggression. They lack that physicality, and the Islanders are able to take it to the Penguins once again and win 3-1. I think both the goaltenders were great, specifically Matt Murray. Honestly, Matt Murray was very good in this game. All 3 goals weren't really his fault, to be quite honest with you. One was on a power play, one was on a fast break, and one was a rebound. So Matt Murray is not to blame here. I would say if you're a Penguins fan, there's a couple of issues in the Penguins game that they need to fix going into game number 3 if they want to win. I think the first one is they need to stay out of the box. I understand that the Islanders only scored 1 power play, and it was at the end of the game to go up 3-1. Josh Bailey scored, but they need to stay out of the box because that takes away puck possession. That takes away time where they could be on offense. 6 penalties, that's way too many. That just gives the Islanders all the momentum, specifically when they're at home. It gives them puck possession. It gives them more opportunity to wear down your defense, and that's not a good look. And when you only get 2 power plays, considering that they got 6, that's pretty bad. So although I think, a couple of those power plays were not very good calls, a lot of them were warranted. So I would probably say 4 out of the 6 calls were pretty much warranted from the refs' perspective. So you can't even blame the refs here. The Penguins were just getting outworked, and a lot of times fans don't take that into perspective. The team with the puck more and the team that outworks the other often gets more power plays because that's just how the game of hockey works. And Penguins weren't working hard enough. That's just the end of the day right here. Again, the hits were pretty even. The shots were pretty even, but the Islanders were able to come out on top in both of those categories tonight as opposed to last game where the Penguins did. Of course, the game went into overtime last game, but this game was, again, very even, very back and forth. But the Islanders just seemed like they were more of a threat to score at all times. They seemed like they were playing their style of game as opposed to the Penguins. And it always felt like the Penguins were kind of on their toes. It feels sort of like the Islanders are where they want to be. They're playing their style of game. Whether their fourth line is all over the forecheck. They're all over the big names of the Penguins. They're causing them to be frustrated. I thought that Malkin, as opposed to last game where he played great, played poorly this game because he's too focused on hitting and cross-checking and slashing other people. Phil Kessel didn't play as well as he did last game. Crosby played great, I thought, overall. He was getting some criticism on Twitter, which I don't understand, but I thought he was probably the most effective forward for the Penguins tonight. And they did miss Jared McCann. I thought just his speed and his ability in general, their lines aren't working. I think Mike Sullivan's shifting them every once in a while throughout this game, and nothing ever seemed to work, so they need to go back to the drawing board when it comes to that. Their defense played better. I thought Chris Letang had a great game, but that's not going to work. I mean, the Islanders, Jordan Eberle was fantastic in this game. Barzell had a good game again with 2 assists. Cal Clutterbuck, Kuhnackel again. These guys all played well. I thought Nick Leddy had a great game. He had that 2-on-1 where he split the defense. Just his skating and his ability to open up the ice for their offense was very nice to see. Josh Bailey had another effective game where he scored, but he was effective because of his physical presence, specifically on the power play once again. Cizikas, I thought, was great on the forecheck and great in his physical game. Matt Martin, again, had a nice, good game. So overall, the Islanders, I just can't go down their list and say that anyone played poorly. For the Penguins, there are a couple of guys that I think are playing poorly. Aston Reese, he's playing poorly. I thought Teddy Bluger actually brought something to the lineup today in terms of speed and smarts, and I thought he actually played one of the better games of any of the Penguins forwards. Gensel was a little better. Hornquist, I think, was worse from last game. Jack Johnson was definitely better than Olli Maatta, but he took 2 penalties. So, Brian Rust was bad, I think, overall. Dominic Simone's not doing much out there. Garrett Wilson, I don't know why he's playing. So, just overall, the Islanders from top to bottom, they're just playing better. It seems like their depth is outperforming the Penguins' depth, and they are playing their style of game as opposed to the Penguins, where they're not playing the style of game that they want to be playing. They're not going on the fast break. They're not going on the rush and making plays. The Islanders are slowing them down in the neutral zone, not allowing that to happen. Their defense are looking over their shoulder. They're not necessarily making the passes that need to be made up the ice, and they're worried about that forecheck coming after them. The Islanders, they're composed. They're not really under any pressure. They're kind of in their element, and I think a lot of that goes to coaching as well. I think you got to give Trotz some credit for what he's done, but overall, I just think it's work ethic, it's the crowd, it's the energy in New York, and the Islanders are just slightly ahead to the puck. They're just getting more in terms of the puck battles. They're just getting a little bit more chances in front of the net, and they're scoring when they get those chances. So the Islanders, right now, they're the better team. We'll see if anything happens when it comes to Pittsburgh and going and playing in a different environment, because honestly, this Islanders crowd is absolutely phenomenal. I don't think there was more than a minute or 2 minutes where they weren't chanting something, where they weren't loud, where they weren't disruptive, and that is a difference maker. That, especially with a team like the Islanders that's built on this kind of underdog approach, that's built on this grit and built on this speed and all that, and that's their game. It affects the other team, and it affects them to play better and over their head. So the Islanders right now, they're just playing great in all facets of the game, from their goaltending to their defense to their forwards. Their power play needs some work. I think that could be better, but overall, not everything's going to be perfect, and they played another good game here to outdo the Penguins, and the Penguins need to go back to the drawing board when it comes to the effort, when it comes to the lines, when it comes to what they're doing in terms of their strategy, getting the puck up the ice. There's not much else that needs to be said. I think the Islanders showed why they're the better team tonight, and they won 3-1 and go up 2-0 in the series. We'll see if the Penguins can change this in game number 3. There's still plenty of time left. It's only 2-0. You need to win 4 to win a series. We'll see what happens in the next game, but all the credit in the world to the Islanders for another hard-fought victory. It's been Mitch of the Hot Take Hockey. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, I was going to say Gronk spike that like button as I do on the Bottom Line View. You could check me out on the Bottom Line View if you haven't already. I'm over there doing NFL content. If you've never seen me before, that's where I'm at most of the time. So the Bottom Line View, you can check me out there. Cheap plug. But otherwise, I'll be here back for game number 3 of a recap between the Penguins and the Islanders. See you then. Peace.